Welcome to Fantasy and Enchantment, where I describe fantasy books to my husband and see if he's enchanted. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Justin.
Today, we are starting Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is, the title of the first book, and also the title of the whole series. It's 3 books.
That's not complicated at all.
I mean, ACOTAR was the same way, and you survived.
Barely.
I think you did fine.
ACOTAR wasn't the one that I hated.
No, it wasn't, so.
What was the one I hated?
Crescent City.
God, I hate that.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
I know. Also, this is a YA series.
I don't know what that means.
Young adult.
Okay.
Which
so
means it's
less porn?
No porn, actually.
No porn.
There was absolutely no porn in this one.
Wow.
So suck it.
Wow. I'm surprised you even picked them up.
Well, I don't need porn.
I mean, you sure read a lot of it.
Hey,
Guilty.
what are you going to do about it?
I guess I'll allow it.
Yeah, you
Get
damn
y'all,
right.
get y'all hot and bothered.
Okay,
Drag me into the bedroom. Let's do it.
not right now.
Stick it in your butt.
Not right now.
Well, we're doing a thing right now.
Yeah, we're busy.
These people don't want to hear that.
I hope not.
I mean, we could edit out that 45 seconds. It'd be fine.
Okay. Are you ready to get started?
Sure, let's do it.
Actually, content warnings, adult language,
Less content warning on this one because apparently this is not a porn.
yes. But we're still gonna swear. So, and also spoilers for the book and the series as a whole.
We'll ruin the whole thing for you.
Justin especially will ruin everything.
That's what I do.
Now we'll get into it. So I'm going to read the description, and then I'll show you the map, because there's a map,
And the cover.
and the cover. Can't forget about the cover. So we'll do description, cover, map.
Okay.
'Kay.
I don't know why you show me these maps like it has any bearing on what I'm going to say.
Sometimes they are helpful. And also,
It doesn't help me a whole lot.
okay. For as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in true love and happy endings, until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Desperate to stop the wedding and to heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy.
Why, based on that description, did you decide you wanted to read this book?
I honestly don't remember. I
'Cause it's-
thought it had, it was described as very fairy tale-esque and whimsical, which is probably not going to be a thing you're going to enjoy.
That's not really up my alley, no.
No, but I mean, it got enough hype that I at least wanted to see what it was about.
Because based on that, this sounds really lame. Also, right out of the gate, she's breaking up somebody's wedding for her own selfish purposes.
I mean, we'll get there, okay? It's not like that.
It sure seems that way based on the description. Sounds like a little bit of a trollop.
Rude. Okay, you want to see the cover?
Yeah, let's see the cover.
Here's the cover.
I don't like it.
I know there are a couple different versions. The one on Goodreads, is the black one with the heart-shaped,
Fleur-de-lis
Yeah.
kind of heart thing.
yeah, that thing. So, in case anyone's wondering what Justin is looking at right now.
Hard pass. Again, based on the cover and the description, out.
Okay. And then, this is a map of the place. She's not there at the beginning of the story, but this is where she's gonna go. It's called the Magnificent North.
A couple of big titty mermaids on either side of this thing.
Yes. I know you like the mermaids.
I got a mermaid tattoo on my leg. It's a reverse mermaid though.
Yeah,
So the
we've
top half is a
talked
fish.
about it
and
before.
the bottom half is a person.
Okay. Are you ready
Yeah.
to get started? Okay, so Evangeline, in this story, I think she's like 18, 19-ish. She also has, it's called rose gold hair. It's kind of pink. And that's
Okay.
her natural hair color. That's going to be important to the story later on.
Okay.
But girl with pink hair, important.
All right.
So the story opens, and Evangeline is standing in front of an old door, and she's holding a newspaper. The newspaper says the door to the Prince of Hearts church has disappeared. The door she's standing in front of is in the shape of a broken heart, half of a broken heart. And as this is happening, we learn that there are 16 immortal fates. They're called fates, these people that are immortal. The Prince of Hearts is one of them. You can like pray to them and ask them for favors and stuff.
So they're kind of like gods, sort of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Okay.
So she goes inside the church. And the church is supposed to smell like your greatest heartbreak.
What the fuck? That's not even a thing. Smell like your greatest heartbreak? What the fuck does that even mean?
Evangeline smells blood and apples.
What? God damn it. We're like 5 minutes into this, and it is fucking nonsense. Jesus Christ. Blood and apples.
There's a man in the back of the church who's like tearing off parts of his shirt, weirdly. But she goes to the front and she stands in front of the statue of the Prince of Hearts because there's a big statue of him. We also learn that fates are trapped in basically cards. They're called the decks of destiny.
This just keeps getting stupider and stupider.
Yes, that's a very small blip in the story, but the Prince of Hearts is said to have no heartbeat because his heart was broken so badly. And his kiss kills everyone except his true love. So basically he's just going around murdering people until he finds the one person who can survive his kiss.
Why is he just sexually assaulting people, kissing them left and right?
I mean, you find out later he is pretty charming, so it's not like he's assaulting them. He's just not being honest about what's going to happen until it's too late.
I hate it so far.
Okay, good talk. There's a bowl near the statue, and it says blood for a prayer. So she cuts her finger.
Also, this is a really fucked up church right out of the gate. It smells weird. There's these weird statues. There's a bowl full of blood. Like, I was raised Catholic, and they do some pretty weird shit. Mostly diddling kids. But at least there's not bowls of blood, and it doesn't smell like pennies and apples.
Well, there were metaphorical bowls of blood. You had to drink the blood of Christ.
That's different, and it's not in a bowl. They put it in a fancy cup.
Still.
And it's just cheap wine.
Well, I know that, but also.
God, I hated wine from the time I was a kid because they made you drink that shit.
Yep.
God, it was awful. Also, all the backwash, it's so unsanitary. I have a real problem with sharing beverages or food. Or
Yeah, that's a
letting
fact.
people touch my food. I don't even like going to restaurants most of the time. I'm definitely not okay sharing a cup with a bunch of old people who are sipping out wine and spitting half of it back. You know, you get halfway through and it's just backwash. It's all that's left.
Okay.
Fucking gross.
Okay.
All right, back to your weird devil church or whatever this is.
Okay.
Actually, a devil church might be cool. This sounds super lame.
Okay. She starts talking. She says that her parents are dead, and she has this secret boyfriend who she met not that long after her dad died. Her mom died first, and then her dad died. And she's been seeing this guy in secret.
And she had daddy issues, so she met some guy. Got it.
Yes.
Why do I feel like all of the main protagonists in these books have daddy issues in some way or another?
That's weird. But this secret boyfriend has just announced that he is marrying her stepsister.
Evil stepsister?
I mean, at this point, she's just a stepsister. They're not like close, but they're stepsisters.
Okay.
His name is Luke. She believes that Luke has been cursed because there's a lot of magic in this world that she lives in. And she thinks her stepmother cursed Luke so that he would marry her daughter instead of Evangeline.
Okay. But he was a secret boyfriend, so did the stepmother even know that they were dating?
Unclear at this point.
Okay. Does it become clear later?
I think so.
Okay. I'm just wondering if there's a plot hole or I'm just...
Yeah, no, it does
we're not-
become
we're not
clear
there.
later.
Okay.
Also, the wedding is today.
Oh,
So she's in a last-ditch,
Neat.
desperate attempt to stop this wedding.
cool.
and she hears a voice behind her. And the voice says, "That was a pathetic speech." She turns around, and there's the guy from the back who's ripping his shirts off. He's standing there, and he's eating a white apple.
Okay. Of course he is.
The apples are important.
Where did he get the apple?
Unclear.
Is there just a tree that's growing white apples somewhere?
Sure, let's go with that. And she realizes that that guy is the Prince of Hearts.
He just hangs out in his own church?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. So he drops the apple on the floor and says, "People who don't like me call me Jax." So his name is Jax.
Okay. But that's what people who don't like him call him. What about people who do like him?
I don't know. I think he's just being a smartass. So,
Okay.
okay. Jax asks where she was born, and she doesn't answer. And then he asks how many people she's kissed, and she says, "Only Luke." And then Jax says she's better off without him. And she disagrees and says that, Luke is the love of her life. So Jax says, "I will stop the wedding in exchange for 3 kisses." And not him, because that would kill her.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, yes. 3 other people. He gets to choose who and when.
God damn, it's so weird.
She says she only wants to kiss Luke, and she doesn't want anyone to die. And he asks how she got in the door, that heart-shaped door. And she just says, "I asked it politely."
What are
So-
they, the doors from Labyrinth? Where you just have to ask them questions to get in? Like, what do you mean she asked the door to open?
That'll become important later.
Damn it.
So he grabs her wrist, and he kisses it 3 times. And then she ends up with these scars that are shaped like broken hearts, and she's got 3 of them. And each one, represents one of the kisses that she's got to give, like her bargain with Jax.
Okay.
And then Jax disappears, and Evangeline immediately regrets her decision and starts running towards her house because her stepsister Marisol and Luke are going to get married in the garden of her house. So she is running. There were a whole bunch of statues that weren't there before, and that's when she realizes everyone has been turned to stone. Everyone who was at the wedding has been turned to stone.
Neat.
And then Jax shows up. And Evangeline says he needs to fix it. And he says, "Can't. The only way it can be undone is if someone takes their place."
So he was like, "I'll stop the wedding. Fuck all these people.
Yeah.
Just kill them all.
Well,
Or turn them all to stone."
yeah, so Jax does not have a lot of, morals.
This is a real, monkey's paw kind of thing. Like, you get your wishes, but they're real fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's going to continue. Similar vein. Okay. She sees a goblet near the tree, and then Jax sees her see it and tells her not to do it. And he goes, "You'll forget about Luke soon. With your stepmother and stepsister Stone, I'm guessing you'll inherit some money. By tomorrow morning, you'll be famous and not poor." And she says, "That's Stone." So she picks up the goblet, and then she drinks it. And she turns to stone because it was
Book's
poison.
over. Done.
Poison in the goblet.
Check, check, check. Book done.
And she's just kind of hoping that someone's going to save her the way that she saved her family, basically.
So she turns to stone and everybody else is okay now?
Yeah, because she took their place. That's, I guess, how
Okay.
the magic
It
works.
wasn't a 1-for-1. It was like a her for everybody kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And then it's this weird point in the book where she, because she's stoned, she can't experience anything. But then all of a sudden, in bits and pieces, she starts to regain sensation. She realizes that there's an arm around her shoulder. And someone says, "Tell me your full name. I need to make sure you have your memory before you go." And then she realizes she's in a lab. This guy tells her that she was a statue for 6 weeks. And he says he's the poison master. His name is... You're going to hate it. His name is Poison.
God damn it.
And he's a fate, just like Jax.
And apparently he can just make people not be stone anymore?
Yeah, because, he's the fate of poisons. So his, magical ability is, poisons and antidotes.
Okay.
Okay. Don't sound so disappointed.
I hate it. This is like everything about this becomes more disappointing every time you say something.
She asks where Jax is, and he says Jax found some trouble during the weeks you were stoned. He won't be returning to Valinda, and Valinda is the place she's in right now, where she grew up. But he does warn that she'll be drawn towards Fates and Jax specifically until her deal with him is done. And then he decides that she's okay, so she walks out into this big room, and people start clapping for her. And she sees Marisol, but not Luke. So her stepsister is there, but not this guy who was supposedly in love with her.
Why are people clapping for her? Like, is everybody like, oh wow, did they all know she turned herself to stone to save them?
Yeah.
How do they know that?
But I don't remember.
Were they able to like experience everything while they were stone people? I would assume not, because she didn't know she was just stoned for 6 weeks.
Well, no, but I mean, like, so Marisol and the other people at the wedding would have come out of their stone statue, whatever, and seen Evangeline as a stone statue, and they would have seen like the goblet that had the poison in it, and they probably would have been able to like connect some dots there.
Thus far, this is like the plot of a Power Rangers episode. Like, that's how poor this is.
Shut up.
Like, and I'm not talking like newer Power Rangers, because I haven't watched that show in a really long time, but I definitely watched it as a kid in the 90s when it was really fucking dumb. Because I've tried to go back and watch it, and I'm like, well, what did I see in this? Nothing. Nothing at all. It was terrible. I was a stupid kid. This is not a good story. Let's go. Tell me more.
Suck it up.
Tell me more of this dumb story.
So her stepmother is there. She says suitors are asking to visit her, and also introduces her to a gossip journalist. That's going to be a big part of the story, is this gossip journalism industry, really.
Also, setting-wise, what are we doing here? Is this like modern day? Is this like some weird little village? Are there cars? Are there cell phones? Do they communicate via pigeon?
So, I mean, it's meant to be like a fairy tale setting, so like it's like a medieval-ish
Okay.
village that
I
she's in
assume
right
they're
now.
all British.
There might be, I don't know.
Isn't it?
Okay. This journalist tells Evangeline about the Week of Terror, and that's when the Fates all returned. They got out of their deck of cards, all of them, somehow.
Somebody shuffled the cards.
Sure. And they tried to take over. Marisol, her stepsister, is now being called the Cursed Bride because Luke went to marry her, and then they all turned to stone. And then there's some other thing.
Ain't nobody gonna want to marry her.
They tried to redo the wedding 2 weeks after Evangeline turned to stone. But on his way there, Luke was attacked by a wolf and has not left his house since. So that's why they're calling her the Cursed Bride, because twice now he's tried to marry her.
Right.
And it has not gone well.
Real, just a wolf, werewolf? What
Just
kind
a wolf.
Just a wolf, okay.
But then Evangeline feels really guilty because like it was kind of her fault that Luke got turned to stone.
Right.
But she doesn't want to tell Marisol the truth because then she has to also admit that she made this deal with Jax. And that's not good. But she goes back to her house and she sees a note from Luke. And it says, meet me at the Curiosity Shop. First thing after sunrise. The Curiosity Shop is the store that her dad owned before he died. She goes to the shop. There's a sign that says it's under new ownership and it's closed until further notice. And that's when she realizes the note was old. So it's been there for weeks and she just didn't see it.
Okay. Well, because she was stoned.
Because she was stoned, yes.
Right.
And then she finds out her stepmother.
Weird to leave a note for somebody who is a rock.
Well, he might have thought that, like, it would be less than 6 weeks before she got unstoned.
How long are you going to be a rock?
Turns out 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Average amount of time that you become a rock.
And then she finds out her stepmother is accepting applications for suitors. So people who want to marry Evangeline, because she's famous now.
Neat.
And she goes back to her house. Agnes is her stepmother's name.
That's
Agnes,
a good stepmother name.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty awful.
Yeah.
Sorry to anybody named Agnes.
You get a
out there.
picture pretty quickly.
Yeah, if you're named Agnes.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you had a rough adolescence, I'm sure.
Yeah. Agnes is standing outside, and there are these guys giving her gifts, trying to get to Evangeline.
That's cool. Take some free gifts.
I know her. I know you like free
I
stuff.
love free stuff.
And Evangeline says, I'm not a statue anymore, but I'm still cursed, and anyone I kiss will turn to stone. So she basically lies
She
to get
lies.
all these guys to leave her the fuck alone.
Okay.
She's not into it right now.
Not interested.
And then they all run away, because it worked.
Well, yeah. But she loses out on all the free shit.
Agnes gets really angry with her. She gives her a note from Luke to Marisol. He said he's going to find a healer to fix, like, his scars from when he got attacked by the wolf.
Get chewed up pretty good, huh?
Yeah, he got real fucked up.
Okay.
And so she runs to Luke's house and sees that it's all empty. So Luke is gone. This guy who was the love of her life
Got eaten by wolves.
tried to marry her stepsister twice,
And has now disappeared.
got fucked up by a wolf,
Yeah.
and now he's gone.
Cool.
Some time passes, and then it's fall. She's working in her dad's bookstore. She finds a copy of her favorite fairy tale growing up, and it's called The Ballad of the Archer and the Fox. That particular story is going to be important throughout all 3 books.
Great. I'm real excited to hear it.
I'm sure you are. And then Marisol comes to the bookshop and gives Evangeline a letter from the Empress. So their land, the place they live at, is ruled by an Empress. So this is a big deal. She goes to the palace. You look like you have something you want to say.
Go ahead. Go.
Okay. She goes to the palace the next day. I still don't believe you, for the record. She meets the Empress and her sister, and they ask her for a favor. They were invited to this thing in the Magnificent North that's called Nocte Never Ending. It's when a prince...
In Canada.
What?
You said Magnificent North. I would just assume that's Canada.
No, it's not Canada.
What's all this about?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Canadians with their Tim Hortons.
I like Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons is great. You're basically Canadian because you grew up in Michigan.
I am not.
You're from the north.
If you ever
You're
talk-
a wildling. You're north of the wall.
If you ever talk to someone from the UP, those people are fucking Canadian.
UP is not even part of this country. That doesn't count.
It is.
What's the state it's actually? Is it Minnesota? Or is it Wisconsin? Which one's it actually touching?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin? That's just proof that people from Wisconsin are just scared to take what's rightfully theirs. It's attached to their state. That's not part of Michigan. That's stupid. Or just give it to Canada. It does not belong to Michigan in any way, shape, or form. That's not theirs.
You just made a whole state real angry. I just want you to know.
It's not theirs.
It's a good thing there's only
I don't care. You people live in a mitten.
I grew up in that mitten.
I'm aware you grew up in that mitten, and you know what? You left because you had some common sense. Just like I left Illinois because it was a dump. So you leave and you go elsewhere. Get out of that mitten.
Are you done?
I guess so. It's basically Canada.
Okay. Nocta Never Ending. In the Magnificent North. It's basically a big, like, costume ball where the prince of the Magnificent North chooses the woman he's going to marry.
Okay.
Because he can't become king until he gets married.
Them's the rules.
Them is the rules.
You can't rule a country unless you've got a wife.
In this particular country, yes.
Silly.
Well,
Silly Canadians.
okay. The Empress and her sister want Evangeline to go in their place as an ambassador. And the princess mentions specifically that she's avoiding someone. So Evangeline says yes, but only if she can bring Marisol. Because this is, like, she thinks that this whole cursed bride thing is really wearing Marisol down. She needs to get the fuck out of there.
So she likes her stepsister.
She's trying with her stepsister.
Okay.
They're not, like, close. I don't think they've really talked a whole lot at this point. But, you know, she's trying to give Marisol the benefit of the doubt right now.
Okay.
So they get on a boat. It takes 2 weeks to get there.
That's a hell of a boat ride.
It is. And then there's this big arch that opens up to the Magnificent North.
Was that the Big Titty Mermaids and the...
Yeah, that was the one with the mermaids. Evangeline has to go to a dinner before the event. I don't think Marisol can go with her because she's not actually attending Nocta Never Ending. So it's just her. She sees Prince Apollo posing for a portrait in a treehouse. And she gets the sense that Jax is there. And she finds out that he was exiled there after a confrontation with the princess. Because the princess said that she was avoiding someone. It's Jax.
Okay.
He did something.
Is this Jax spelled Jax or Jacks?
Jacks.
Okay. That's the wrong way to do that. But
Okay.
I would have. You do Jax. It's better.
Nope.
Well, you did it wrong.
Okay.
I don't know what the name of the author is. And I know she's listening, but she did it wrong.
Stephanie.
And I just know it's a she, too. I didn't even have to guess. I know it's a she. It's not a male writer.
Stephanie Garber.
Okay. Well, Stephanie, I know you're listening. You spelled that wrong.
Okay. She meets this woman named Lala, who's going to be important to the story later on.
That's a bad name.
Okay.
La.
It might be a nickname.
It's still dumb.
And then she runs into Jax, who has, in his hand, a gold apple.
What? This motherfucker is always munching on an apple.
He grabs onto her and makes it look like they're about to make out, which can't do because it would kill her.
Again, in theory.
In theory.
I have a feeling it's going to come around and he's going to end up kissing her and it's going to be a thing. I just ruined the story, I bet. Look at that. I already saw through the entire... Like, I just saw through the big swerve that's going to be coming later.
Okay.
Immediately.
Okay. Whatever. Apollo is the first person he wants her to kiss. So he cuts his finger and he puts blood on her mouth and he says... You have to go kiss Apollo.
It's just a fucking weird thing to do.
Yeah, and then you find out later he did that just to fuck with her. He didn't actually have to put the blood on her.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing to do. This guy's also got a weird, like, fetish for blood.
He might, yeah.
Bowl of blood in his church. He's putting blood on people.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a fetish.
So a servant tells her that it's her turn to meet Prince Apollo. Jax escorts her up to the treehouse, where they bicker a little bit. And then she kisses Apollo, and both of them get really into it to the point where Jax has to pull her away. And then she looks back at Apollo and notices that he seems like a little out of it, like his eyes are unfocused and hazy and everything. And the next day, she sees that one of her heart-shaped scars is gone.
Yeah.
So
She fulfilled one commitment.
she did. She finds a store. She's kind of wandering through the city. She finds a store and it's closed. She knocks on the door. And then...
You know, that's what you do when you go to a store and it's closed, is knock on the door, because those poor people who work in the retail establishment really want to deal with some asshole banging on the door after hours. Not that I've ever worked in retail before, if you can't tell.
Okay. There's a soldier behind her who's wearing a bronze helm, who basically tells her, like, I don't think you want to go in there right now. As if the closed sign wasn't enough of a hint.
Yeah, store's fucking closed, bitch. Quit knocking on the door.
That soldier's going to come back, though. That's the only reason I mentioned that.
Great.
So she gets dressed for the actual event. Knocked and Never Ending is officially happening.
Does it ever end?
It ends when he picks a bride. That's the only way it ends.
Like the never-ending story, the movie that only runs for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, yeah. Marisol shows up and she's like clutching a newspaper for dear life. The gossip journalist here in the north has found out that she was the cursed bride back in Belinda. So word has started to spread about her reputation already. So Marisol really doesn't want to go, but Evangeline convinces her. They head out, but Evangeline realizes she forgot something, so she runs back inside and she finds cookbooks in Marisol's room. And she thinks like, oh, I didn't know she liked to cook. I knew she liked to bake, but I didn't know she liked to cook. That's going to be important later.
Everything's a callback.
It's not as bad as Crescent City.
Ooh.
How many times did I say that?
God damn it. 4 books full of nonsense. 3 books? I don't know. It was too many books.
It was 3.
Yeah, the one had so many pages it may as well have been 6.
Okay.
Fuck me.
They get to the event and see people are playing like a life-size chess game.
Like Harry Potter.
Yeah, kind of.
What is that, the first movie they
Yeah,
did?
that is the first movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that one. Actually, I've seen them all now. It took a long time, but you finally made me see them all.
I did.
Yeah. Even that shitty camping one.
Okay.
God damn it. The second to last Harry Potter is absolute hot garbage. They wander around in the forest and they camp for the entire movie, and nothing happens. That did not need to exist.
Okay, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. Lala is also there.
Okay.
So, again, Lala is going to be important to the story. She sees Jax hanging out. Guess what he's got in his hand?
Fucking apple.
An apple.
What color is it?
I didn't write it down, so it must not have been too weird.
Purple.
Might have been. And she sees him go up to Marisol, and she starts going in that direction because she's like, oh no, Marisol doesn't know who the fuck this is. But then Prince Apollo rides in.
Oh.
He's dressed like...
Rides in. Is he on a horse?
Yeah, he's on a horse.
What kind of horse? They don't go into the horse?
I don't remember a lot of I didn't write it down because it wasn't important.
Okay.
Okay.
The apples are important, but not the horse.
Yes.
Okay.
You'll see. He's dressed like the archer from the Ballad of the Archer and the Fox.
Okay.
Her favorite fairy tale.
Yeah, got it.
Evangeline thinks he's gonna come to her first, but he asks a different girl to dance. So she's like, "Oh, I guess it's not me. That's fine. I'll find someone else. It's fine." And then she hears Jack's voice in her head for the first time, so Jax can like telepathically communicate with her.
Cool.
Yeah, but then
Does she want this guy to pick her, Apollo? Does she want that?
yes and no. Like it's this weird situation where like she's really into the idea of fairy tales, so she thinks like maybe this is her shot at having like her own fairy tale.
Okay. Also, when you say Apollo, all I picture is Apollo Creed from the Rocky movies.
Oh my God.
Like a black man with an afro wearing like American flag trunks.
No.
That's just what I assume, riding in on a horse.
No.
Just know that that's what I'm thinking of whenever you say Apollo.
Okay, well then Apollo comes up behind her and proposes to her. So
But that ends the party real fucking quick, huh?
yeah,
It's been like 5 minutes.
yeah,
He
basically.
danced with one other girl and he's like, nah, I'm done. I figured it out.
And so she says yes. They kiss. She feels kind of weird about it because she's like I want to be in love with him, but this is all very, very fast.
Yeah, it's a little quick.
Yeah.
Guy moves fast.
The next day, Marisol comes into her room. Evangeline still feels guilty, but still doesn't want to tell her about what she did. And then Apollo starts banging on the door because he's worried about Evangeline because he's heard that Marisol is the cursed bride. And he thinks that Marisol might curse her because that's what she does.
They're all real superstitious in this world.
Yeah. The gossip paper in particular said that the cursed bride was out to get her. So he thinks he's coming to save her life. Evangeline gets him to calm down, only if she agrees to move into the castle with him.
She moves quick too, huh?
Yeah. Also, they've got 1 week till the wedding.
Oh, because why would you need time to plan?
Yeah. So Apollo is sending her gifts and notes. He bought her a wedding dress. He filled a whole bathtub full of gold and gems. He got her a stable of horses. Like
He won a
he's
couple
going,
boxing matches.
he's going real nuts over here. And she starts to worry that Apollo has been cursed. But she also, again, wants like a fairy tale love story. So she's conflicted. She sends a note to Jax and then sneaks out to meet him the next day. She gets in a carriage. Jax is there. Guess what he has?
A fucking apple.
It's silver.
Oh.
I need you.
Do the colors matter?
I don't really think the colors end up being all that important. It's just like a fun little detail that they've got all these weird colored apples from somewhere.
It's an odd detail. Also, for the record, if Apollo dies by getting punched too hard by a Russian in the fourth movie, it's going to be really strange for me.
That's not how he dies.
No? Okay.
No.
He's not killed by Ivan
I'm
Drago.
guessing you're not going to guess.
If he dies, he dies.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that you're not going to guess how he dies.
The fourth one's probably the best movie, for the record. I know you've probably never seen the Rocky movies, but the fourth one's probably
I'm
the
sure I
best.
have, and it was a long fucking time ago.
The fourth, it's a deep cut. Like, you've probably seen the original and maybe some of the newer ones. I don't think you would have sat through and like 3 and 4. 5 is terrible.
Okay.
4 is great though.
She tells Jax, I need you to undo whatever you've done to Prince Apollo. And then Jax basically confirms that, yeah, Apollo is under some kind of love spell. She tells him to fix Apollo or she'll call off the wedding. And he's like, oh, I don't think you're going to actually do that. And she says, you didn't think I'd drink from Poison's goblet either, but I did it. So she's basically...
Calling his bluff. Well,
Yeah. The carriage starts moving, and Jax says they're going to fulfill her second kiss. And then he says if she doesn't marry Apollo, the unrequited love will destroy him. So the way that this curse that Jax put on him works is either she's going to have to marry him or Apollo's going to die. And he seems pretty excited about it.
This is gonna be great.
Oh, I did it! You might die! Yay!
You're just running around killing people.
Yeah, again, not a whole lot of morals here.
Well,
And then he says, it would be a mistake for you to tell yourself that I'm not a monster. So he knows exactly what he is.
yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
And he promises to fix Apollo after the wedding. So he has to get married to him afterwards.
Afterwards, he'll break this little spell, and then this dude's gonna be like, why am I married to you?
Yeah, that's basically what Evangeline thinks is going to happen. For good reason. They stop at a fancy castle. Jax says she needs to kiss this old lady, Lady Fortuna.
Because that's just how he gets his rocks off, watching young girls with pink hair kiss old ladies.
Well, no.
He's like, I'll be jerking it in the corner, but you go ahead and do that.
Oh my god, no.
Put some blood in there too. I'm into that.
Then Jax says that Marisol is jealous of her, but Evangeline doesn't believe him. They go into the house. Lady Fortuna storms in and threatens him with her big dogs. She's got a couple of big dogs.
Couple puppies.
And then she says to Jax, I meant it when I told you that I'd kill this little upstart if I ever crossed her path. Her daughter was also at Nocta Never Ending. So she's upset that this girl showed up who nobody had ever heard of. Because
Right.
she's basically from like a normal house. So she met. So Evangeline just like in a hurry, she kisses her cheek. All of a sudden Fortuna is in like a great mood. And she's happy for them to be there. And she's going to show them around. Jack says he wants to see the vault. So they go down under the castle, there's another arch, and then find out that these arches are magical and they were supposed to be destroyed after the original rulers of the land died. The original rulers were called the Valors, and they made all the arches. That's going to be important later. Fortuna cuts her hand and uses the blood to open the arch. She says this can only be opened by freely given blood. That's why they needed to get control over her to get in there.
Right. Also, Jax was just getting off seeing some blood again.
Maybe.
That's what he was really
It's
into.
possible. Jax reveals that he's looking for some kind of stones. So Evangeline asks Fortuna, but Fortuna is starting to break out of the spell. And she says to Evangeline, you're the one who will open the Valerie Arch. You will know her because she will be crowned in rose gold. She will be both peasant and princess. So clearly there's something going on with Evangeline in particular. That's going to be important later.
Okay. Of course it is.
Fortuna lunges at her with a knife, and then Jax hits her on the head. He's got like this big emerald skull in his hand, and he just smacks her on the head with it.
Where did he get an emerald skull? It just appear?
Well, no, they're inside the vault where she keeps all her fancy shit.
Okay.
It was in the vault.
She just had an emerald skull.
Yeah.
All right. That's a weird thing to have in a vault.
Where else do you keep your emerald skulls?
Coffee table.
Okay.
It's a centerpiece. Initiates conversations.
Okay. And then Lady Fortuna is knocked out, so Jack goes to kiss her, to kill her.
Right.
Evangeline stops him, and then Evangeline is like connecting the dots in her head, and she realizes that Jax has arranged all of this so far so she could fulfill this prophecy that Lady Fortuna just mentioned about being crowned in rose gold, both peasant and princess. So Jax has some kind of master plan that he's working on right now, and he tells her that her only option is for her to marry Apollo. You can either marry him and save him from a life of misery, or you can try to prevent a dusty prophecy that you don't even understand. So they're in the carriage on the way back to the royal castle, which is called Wolf Hall. She won't talk to Jax, and she's decided she's going to look into the prophecy on her own. So she goes to the castle's library, and there's an old librarian there.
Every one of these books, somebody goes to a library.
Libraries are important to the fabric of society.
That's funny because the only time I ever utilized the library was when I was in college, and when it would rain, I would cut through the library to get from one building to another because I could get out of the rain.
Okay.
That was my utilization of a library in my entire life, really.
Okay.
Really held together the fabric of society.
Yeah.
I'm on the fringes of society anyway, so.
Yeah, you are. Old librarian takes her to a door that's got like a big wolf carved on it. He says, it is believed that every story about the Valors is on the other side of this door. Unfortunately, no one has been able to open this door since the age of the Valors.
Was she just going to ask it to open?
No, it's a whole process. And then later she goes back to her room. She hears Apollo singing from outside the window. Evangeline,
What's he singing?
I don't remember. I didn't write it down. Not important.
Oh, okay. It's not. He's not singing like Elton John songs or something.
No.
It'd be crazy if they just dropped in some really
Like
ridiculous.
Rocket Man or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just outside singing Rocket Man. Or Saturday night's alright for fighting. And she's like, what the fuck is that? Elton John?
Evangeline tells him it's cold and he should come inside, so he starts climbing the wall. He thinks they're gonna have sex.
He's like,
Because,
I'm
of course.
gonna get my dick wet right now.
Evangeline says no, and instead asks him about the Valerie Arch. He says there are two versions of the story about the Arch. It was either built to be a prison for a monster, or to house powerful magical objects.
Those are two very different things.
Yes.
Could be monsters, could be something magic.
Yeah.
Could be magic monsters.
Magic monsters, yeah, sure.
There's probably a book called Magic Monsters somewhere. You
I'm
should
sure there
probably
is.
read that one.
Oh, okay. I
Monster.
got other stuff to read first.
Monster fucking.
He says that the prophecy is the key to getting the door open, so that's going to be important. It's the day of the wedding.
Also, he's probably super disappointed because he thought he was going to get laid and she just came up there and hit him with 20 questions.
Yeah. Well, it's about to get a whole lot worse for him.
He's like, I guess I'll just jerk it off myself tonight after you get out of here.
Okay.
Not putting out.
It's the day of the wedding. Evangelina's worried about the curse because she wants to marry Apollo, but also as soon as this curse is broken, Apollo's not going to want anything to do with her anymore.
Also, has she totally kicked this other dude to the curb, the guy who got eaten by wolves? Does
Yeah.
she mention him at all anymore? Or is she
Yes,
just like,
still occasionally.
okay. She's not like, yeah, fuck that guy. I got a prince now.
But the way she sees it is like she's like Luke was about to marry her stepsister twice, so maybe he didn't really like her to begin with. Maybe he wasn't the love of her life. So
It's fair.
they get married and nothing happens. So she's a ball of anxiety for a while because she's still worried about the curse.
Is that why the story's relatable to you? She has a ball of anxiety.
Rude. The prince's brother Tiberius shows up and almost fights Apollo, but then he asks Evangeline to dance. And she asks why he left after their engagement was announced. And he says, the next time I see you, I'll tell you why I disappeared. Apollo tells her he wants to leave the reception. I wonder why.
Getting it? Why does any freshly married couple leave their reception early?
Yeah.
Usually to take a shower and fuck.
Yeah.
Buh.
Also to take a million pins out of your hair.
Yeah, because that's a
So
thing.
many.
Why do they do that?
I mean, there was a lot to hold in place. She was trying to keep it from moving around.
I didn't put any pins in my hair.
You
I
don't
just
really have hair.
I just did the same thing I do every day. And put on a purple velvet blazer
Yeah.
and a pineapple bow tie.
I got you that bow tie.
You did get me that bow tie. There were also camels at our wedding. A camel at our wedding. We didn't invite the camel. He was just there. There's a bonus camel, and it was really exciting.
Out of context, that sounds kind of weird.
It also sounds like we got married in a desert. We got married at a garden in Michigan. That mitten. But there was a camel, and I appreciate mitten camels.
Okay.
That should be the title of this episode. Mitten camels.
I'm not calling it mitten cams.
It should be. That's a good band name. Write that down.
Okay. She finds Jax and tells him to remove the spell. Jax has a dagger again. He pokes his finger and puts blood on her mouth again.
No apple, though, this time.
No apple that I wrote down. So.
Okay.
And he says, if you do this, your prince won't think you've done him a favor. Heroes don't get happy endings. And she's going to do it anyway. So she goes to the wedding suite. Apollo is on the bed, not wearing a shirt. It says he's got like oil on his chest. He's trying to be like real Fabio.
He's into Nuru massages.
Yeah. She has some wine. She's like trying to, like,
Get in the mood.
not really get in the mood, but like liquid courage is what they call it.
I don't know. I don't drink.
I know you don't. And then she starts to kiss him, and then she feels him like backing away. And he says, why do I feel as if you've stabbed me in the heart? But then all of a sudden, his eyes roll back in his head, and he collapses. There are guards that storm in. They think she killed him, because all of a sudden, he's basically dead.
He did.
And they take her to a dark room, tie her to a chair, put a gag in her mouth. She's crying hysterically. One of the guards tells her to shut up and goes to like backhand her across the face. And then Jax comes in and says, is that how a royal guard treats his next queen? So he has the ability to like control people. So he starts controlling the guards and tells them all to get the fuck out. He tries to control her too to get her to stop crying because she is like crying an outrageous amount of tears right now. There's like a puddle at her feet. But it doesn't work.
She's like our daughter having a meltdown.
Except worse.
And not 4.
No, not 4. He asks how long she's been crying. And then he says there's no magic in his kiss. Apollo fell in love with her because Jax willed it. So Jax just controlled Apollo to make him fall in love with her. There was no point in there being blood on her mouth. Or even really the kiss. He was just fucking with her. But anyway, he says there's another fate who cries poisoned tears. I think someone has poisoned you with those tears, and if we don't get you the cure soon, you'll cry yourself to death. So she's been poisoned.
Okay.
And then she remembers that the wine she had was a little salty, probably from the tears. So he cuts her free, throws her over his shoulder, and then they get outside the castle, they go on a sled, they climb a bunch of stairs, and Evangeline hears a woman's voice. And the woman says she's going to make an antidote. And Jax is holding her in front of a fire, like arms wrapped around her, like holding her still. While she gets the antidote, this woman says she'll need close physical contact for at least a full day for the cure to take. So Evangeline basically passes out, wakes up a while later. Jax is still holding her. Lala is there, and that's a woman she heard. Lala is also a fate. She's the unwed bride. Those tears that were used to poison Evangeline were Lala's tears. She cries poison tears.
Cool.
Yeah.
But she didn't poison her.
No. Someone just got a hold of her tears somehow. Because she...
That makes perfect sense.
Because she occasionally, like, sells them.
Oh. That's a good side hustle, I guess.
Yeah.
Selling poison tears.
Jax has a paper saying that Evangeline murdered Apollo and that Tiberius is looking for her. She wants to go back to Wolf Hall. Jax and Lala are like, that's a terrible fucking idea. Tiberius is definitely gonna, like, throw you in a dungeon somewhere. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Jax convinces her that she needs his help to find the real killer. She agrees, but she has rules. You will not leave me behind or keep things that you learn secret. They hear a knock on the door, like, next to them. They realize that the guards are coming. Jax makes them go away. They're gonna go see Chaos. Chaos is a vampire, and he's the lord of spies and assassins. Jax wants to see him, because if someone assassinated Apollo, this guy's probably gonna know who it was.
Okay. So Apollo's straight up dead now.
Yes.
Okay, because you said he was virtually dead.
Yeah.
Or practically dead. I just wanted to verify that he's not, like, just laying on a deathbed on ICU somewhere.
No.
He's dead.
Yes.
Okay.
Lala gets her a new dress and reveals that she makes wedding dresses, and that, like, because she's a fate, because she's the unwed bride, she's, like, really wants to get married. That's, like, her thing. So making wedding dresses, like, helps her not do that so much.
Okay.
The strongest of our feelings is always the urge to be that which we were made to be. So it's basically like fates, like, cannot be other than what they are.
It's a wordy way of saying that.
Well, she gets dressed and then comes out, and guess what Jax has?
A boner?
No.
An apple.
An apple. This one's pink. Jax is holding a cookbook also, and that reminds Evangeline that Marisol is still in the castle. And then Jax says that the cookbook is actually a disguised spell book. So that's going to be important later.
Well, that means that all those cookbooks that her stepsister had were spell books.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
So they walk through the woods. They see missing posters with Evangeline's face on them. Jax says not to look a vampire in the eyes. No matter what I tell you about vampires, you're going to be intrigued instead of horrified. That's like the magic of the vampires. Nobody's really as scared as they should be. They're in a cemetery in front of a big mausoleum. They open the door. They go into a big dining room. There's a table with a bunch of chains on it. You want to guess what the chains are for?
Sex stuff.
Holding down the people that they're eating because they're vampires.
People
Sex
meat.
stuff.
And sex stuff.
Okay.
When the vampires get a little freaky.
Okay.
Vampires do that. It's a thing.
Jax realizes they're standing under a cage, and that's when Chaos comes in. Chaos is the soldier that she saw wearing the bronze helm.
Oh, okay.
So, he's back. He tells her that only people who want to be put in cages are in them. So I guess Consensual caging, yay.
That's for sex stuff.
Also says that he's been wearing that helmet for centuries.
Hey, dude, take it off. Take a break, huh?
Yeah.
Calm down. You sleep in that thing?
They're also having this big ceremony where like humans are being bitten by the vampires. All the humans who were bit get put into cages. If they bite someone before dawn, they'll become a vampire. So the vampire curse only works if you are bitten by a vampire and then you bite someone else. Otherwise, you wake up the next day and you're fine.
Oh.
So they ask...
That's a twist on the vampire story.
Yeah. They ask who killed Apollo. Chaos says someone came to him for malefic oil. If you combine it with the blood, tears, or hair of a person, it's only toxic to that specific person. Let's see. They go running out of the room because there's vampires everywhere, and they're like, we should probably get the fuck out of here.
There's a band called Vampires Everywhere.
Okay. Of course there is.
They're pretty cool.
But then Evangeline hears Luke in one of the cages.
Oh.
He's begging her to let him out. He says he came there because vampire venom would heal his scars, and vampire venom can also break curses. So when he was bitten, his scars were healed, and then the curse that he was under was broken. So he remembers Evangeline all of a sudden.
But did he bite somebody else? Now is he a vampire?
He's in a cage right now, so he's not bitten anybody else. All I know was that your stepsister was all I could think about. So clearly something happened. She finds a sword and gives it to Luke, and he breaks open the cage and lunges for her because he's a fucking vampire right now. But Jax pushes her out of the way, so Luke ends up biting Jax. And then Jax breaks Luke's neck. But he's a vampire, so he'll be fine. They go running out of the mausoleum, and Jax is very clearly upset. He says, it's as if you want that boy to destroy you, and he's only human. So he does not understand why she's so into this guy. Who maybe just tried to kill her.
Also vampire.
Also vampire. She starts walking ahead of him. And then, doesn't hear him, so she turns around, and he's right behind her, and she sees that he's got the pointy teeth. Because he got bit by a vampire.
Sure, pointy teeth.
She sees another mausoleum with a lock on it. He tells her to prick open her finger and use the blood to open the lock because she is a key. That's why when she asked the door politely to open at the beginning, it did, because she's a key. So he goes inside. She slams the gate shut. She decides to distract Jax, asks him about the princess who's avoiding him. He reveals that he kissed her, but it didn't kill her, and his heart started beating. So he's under the impression that this princess, who wants nothing to do with him right now, is his true love. Even though she wants nothing to fucking do with him.
Neat.
She fell in love with someone else and then stabbed me in my heart with my own knife. Jax starts offering to bite her and flirting with her. He wants her to tell him about Luke. She says Luke was there when her dad died. Was basically just nice to her, so that's okay. Jax is not impressed. Says Luke could have saved her if he'd wanted to. They start to argue and he breaks open the lock on the gate. He gets right in front of her. Starts touching her face. She says if he bites her, she won't be able to open the arch. Because that's what he needs her for. She's the key. She's got to open the arch. Then he stops. And then the sun comes up. And then he backs away because he didn't get the blood, so he's back to normal.
Right. As opposed to a normal vampire movie when the sun comes up and they explode.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But she hangs on to his dagger. So they start talking about where to go. She says that Marisol might have poisoned Apollo. And then Jax collapses and he just can't stay awake. He says there's always a cost to unearned power. So this is because he had the vampire venom, this is his body working that out of his system.
Well, he's real tired. He stayed up all night doing a bunch of vampiring.
Yeah, sure. So they get out of the cemetery. They try to find Lala's house, but Evangeline was basically unconscious when she got taken there, so she's got no idea where that is. She finds a door, won't open, so she pricks open her finger. And then it does open because she's the key.
She just put her blood on things and they open right up.
Yep. She says, you're so lucky I'm here. And he says, luck had nothing to do with it. Who do you think asked Poison to save you and suggest to his empress that she send you to Nocta Neverending? So again, Jax has been planning this whole fucking thing. Jax collapses on a sofa. Evangeline finds a paper saying that Marisol and Tiberius are engaged now.
Oh,
Jax won't wake up, so she decides to find a cure for a love spell. And then she finds a letter she wrote to Jax. And then she realizes that they're at Jax's house. She starts snooping. He's got 7 copies of that book, The Ballad of the Archer and the Fox. That seems like a lot.
yeah, that seems unnecessary. Really, 1 copy of a book is enough.
Yeah. One of the copies has a cookbook / spellbook inside, and she finds a spell for turning someone into a true love. But it says there's a cost to every spell. She finds a serum for truth, and then she makes it because that's the cure to the love spell thing. And then she leaves a note for Jax. She gets back to Wolf Hall, the royal castle, and then she gets into Tiberius's room, and then Marisol comes in. Marisol hugs her. She says she's glad she's okay, but then Evangeline calls her out and says, I know you gave Tiberius a love potion just like the one you gave to Luke. Marisol starts crying, says she didn't do anything to Tiberius. She was jealous and picked Luke because he was nice to Evangeline, wanted to find a spell to reverse the one on Luke, but thought only vampire venom could break the curse. And then Evangeline confesses that she went to the Prince of Hearts. And then Marisol, the little bitch, gets real fucking mad at her. She's like, you ruined my wedding. The wedding that you cursed this guy to have with you. Yes, that one. She ruined it. And she yells for the guards. And that she tells the guards that Evangeline just confessed to murdering Apollo. And then Tiberius runs in and has Evangeline put in his room so he can question her. She gets tied to a chair again. Tiberius ends up drinking the potion that she made earlier, the truth potion. She says she didn't kill Apollo, and he says he knows. He's a member of the Protectorate, a group of people that are supposed to protect the arches to keep them from being opened. She asks him to get one of the guards to kill her. He calls them in and basically says, starts saying she, but then cuts himself off because he can't lie. He just took a truth potion. So he knows that she didn't kill Apollo, so he can't say she killed Apollo because that's a lie. And then he confesses and says that he poisoned Apollo. He poisoned his own brother.
Oh.
He meant to kill Evangeline. It didn't work out that way, obviously. And then he sees Marisol and says he'll kill her if he sees her again. So Marisol is out another fiance. Evangeline gets moved into her royal suite and gets worried that Jax hasn't showed up. A soldier says there's a man asking for her, and she thinks it's Jax. But then she hears Jax in her head, and he says he's coming to see her. And then she realizes she's in a new part of the castle. There's a woman waiting who says that Apollo is alive. Her and the guard hid him to keep him safe. They lead her downstairs.
So he was on ICU the whole time.
She sees Apollo laying down. He's in a suspended state, kind of, and they think only Evangeline can bring him back. Evangeline starts to realize that Jax orchestrated all of it, including Apollo being poisoned. And then she goes to that door in the library again. And that's where the book ends.
Oh, so she doesn't open the door. That's where the second book picks up.
Basically, yeah. We did it.
We did it. This one drug on a little bit.
I mean, it's about an hour.
Yeah. It was a lot of building, we're going to come back to that. Oh, this is going to come back later. Oh, this is going to tie in. A lot of traveling back and forth from castle to castle. It was a lot.
Okay. But we did it.
We did it.
You survived.
I made it.
Okay.
It's not near as bad as what those others were.
So what do you think I rated it?
You give everything a 3 or 4. Based on the last episode, which was a book that you didn't like, and you gave it a 3, I'm going to assume you gave this a 4.
No, actually, I gave this a 3.
Oh.
And I don't even really remember why. I just looked at it again, and I was like, oh, I don't know why I did that. But I must have had my reasons at the time, and I just don't remember. So.
Okay.
This one got a 3.
All right.
But I kept going.
Kept going.
Read the other 2.
This is only three books.
Only 3 books.
It's not more. It's not going to be 17 books.
No.
They just keep writing forever?
No, this series is done and over.
Okay.
And then the next one is called The Ballad of Never After.
Okay.
So we're going to do that next.
Yay.
Yay.
Can't wait.
I know.
How exciting.
So Follow us on Facebook and TikTok, FAE Podcast. Leave suggestions, comments, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm sure I'm forgetting something.
Like, share, subscribe, all those things. Isn't that what podcasters say?
I guess. Are we? Oh, fuck. We're podcasters.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Just don't call me an influencer. I don't ever want to be labeled as an influencer. Don't let me influence you to do anything.
No, please don't. It's a bad idea.
Unless you want to send me free stuff. I like free stuff. Send me free stuff. I like that.
Okay. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.